So we know. So there are the different schools. So I don't. So I don't know the Makari's where all the different schools started changed and started from, but Al Kalpanim. So we know there are the two famous, famous schools is Nusach Sfard and Nusach Ashkenaz, and so two different minhagim in how we do our tefillas. So the shayla is someone able to change? Someone wants to switch to another nusach. It's like a seder, saying that everyone's used to that tefillah. So it's an issue to change. So the Magen Avram in Siman Samaches, he brings down B'Shem Arizal that the Rizal is very makpid. He is picky about which piyutim what he would say. He would only bring tefillos which were musan alpi chachmas emes and from the Rishonim. He wouldn't a lot of the piyutim he skipped out. He says, but still, he says all the different eschais that people have, they should be careful not to change them. Why? Because it says there Yud Beis Sharim. Just like in the Beis Hamikdash, there were 12 different gates. Each shevet had their own way to go in. So too, L'maydo, when we daven, each shevet has their own way to come close to the Eibishter. And there are 12 nuschais for all the shvatim. For all the shvatim, there's a different nusach, a different way how to daven to the Eibishter. So we don't know upon which shevet we are or what's the right nusach. But al kapanim, you have a certain nusach, you have a certain minimum. Even daven a certain eifim, you can't. It's not a suffix you can't change because maybe you're changing from the right nusach. So this is in the first Ma'arim Mafim. The Magen Avram writes.
The master entrance.
Yeah.
The master key.
Are you talking about the Shara Kilo? Okay, we're going to get there soon. There's something called the Shara Yod Gimel. There's a 13th gate. I'll get there soon. So that the Magen Avram says, "Hariza loy hayo imer piyutim ukizmeinim elo mash sidru harishonim." Only in Nusach piyutim and the parts of the tefillos which were set up by the Rishonim, k'goyin hakaliri shenisachnu al derech emes. But omnam hamin hagim shenaga b'shershi hatfilo. But the different minhagim which you have in the Shoshei Tefillah, you shouldn't change from the way you daven in your place. Why? Yud Beis Sharim b'Shamayim. There are 12 different gates in the Shamayim. Neged Yud Beis Shvatim. Can I give the 12 Shvatim? The Chol Shevet Yishlei Shar Uminhag Levad Mash Niskar B'Gemara, which is Shava L'Chol. So in each Shevet has their own Shar. And therefore there are different minhagim in Tefillah. So this is corresponding to each of the different Shvatim. It's not pshat that there's one nusach which is the correct nusach. There are every person, each shevet has their own nusach. This is all besides for the basic things which are shavla, which are brought mentioned in the Gemara in the Pesachim, which are the same for everyone. You have Shemana Esrei and Shema and Baruch Shamar. So all those things are the same. But then all the other shinuyim that changes according to each person, to each shevet.
Doesn't say that minhag hofech ledin.
Say it again. Minhag is what?
Minhag hofech ledin.
Therefore,
if you have parents, it's a din, you have to do it. You cannot change.
Yeah,
The shir is no, you're allowed to change your nusach.
You're allowed to change it.
No.
This is what we're talking about.
It's based upon your minhag.
So based on
you can't change from your minhag.
This is
you can't.
This is besides for Al Titash Teiras Imecha. This is regardless of that, of Al Titash. There's a separate issue of changing nusach because maybe this is the wrong nusach for you.
But how would you know that?
You don't know, but that's why. Since you're mashpacha, since you were always knowing to daven like this, you're machim, was knowing to daven like this, you shouldn't change. How could you change to another one? Maybe this is the right one. So chazaka, you start off davening like this. You should keep like that.
What is the Baal with them?
You have many times.
He doesn't have him serve.
Yes,
So
they discuss it. They discuss it.
What? Again, you're not better.
Factually speaking, a lot of nuschos, besides Nusach Ari, that are developed. What do you mean it's your family's nusach? You go back to this, that they're developed, and you know when the nusach was developed precisely as it was. So how does it stick with what you're saying that you should not move away from your nusach and go? I mean.
Okay, you saying it's funny. You grew up davening with a certain nusach in your town. Everyone davens on a certain nusach. He moves to a different town. You shouldn't change.
But that you know for a fact, factually speaking, that nusach only came out that it's only so old. It's so many years, and the family, for a fact, it was a previous nusach you had before this amount of years. So you're telling me that from that Shevet, how does it stem with what you're saying that it's made for you and your Shevet and everything? It's really a double question I'm asking. This is factually speaking, as these Nuschais came out, it would definitely change a mass amount of people and regions in Europe. And furthermore, you know for a fact that that's not initially going, if you could go back several generations, you know for a fact that that was not your Nusach.
How do you know that?
Because the Nusach only came out as
Which,
a
for
Nusach.
example,
But the Nusach didn't came out 1,000 years ago.
For example, which Nusach?
Your
Nusach
presumption,
Ashkenaz
the
and
tradition.
No, Nusach Sfard, but Nusach, we know when Nusach Ari came out.
Oh, okay, so you're talking
Okay.
specifically.
Nusach changed it. What? What's his?
Okay, so you're talking specifically
tradition.
about Nusach Ari, about all other Nuschais. We're not talking about Nusach Ari.
We're not talking about
So
Nusach.
Nusach Sfard and Nusach Ashkenaz. That's what we're talking about over here. We're not talking about Nusach Ari.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Misha, when we get to the
Okay.
Shifra Misha, you'll see he says what you're saying. We'll get there.
It was-
Saying, but here we're talking Nusach Ashkenaz and Nusach Sfard. So someone that Mishpach has always been davening Nusach Ashkenaz and Nusach Sfard. He shouldn't change. And the Prima Garden says on the Magen Avraham, someone davens one, someone Nusach Sfard can change to Nusach Ashkenaz. Someone davens Nusach Ashkenaz, he shouldn't change to Nusach
But
Sfard.
only even Nusach Sfard as we have it was only developed. It was based on Ashkenaz. If you go back to the time of the early days of Vitri and after the Rashi and the Balei Tosfos, that Nusach Sfard, which we have, not based on Sephardi, was only developed.
But the
based on-
Sephardi was in the beginning
right,
of the
was
time.
based on
So-
is based on Nusach Ashkenaz, and that also came at a certain period of time, changed.
I don't know the history of that. You're saying Nusach Sfard came after Nusach Ashkenaz? That's what
Well,
you're
the
that's
way
what you're
we
saying?
have Nusach Sfard, the Chassidish Oilam, which governs Nusach Sfard, that also came later. It's not Sfard.
You're referring to Nusach Ari?
No, even before Nusach. Well, Nusach Ari was Nusach Sfard, the way we have
Okay,
it.
so you're referring to you're still referring to Nusach Ari, the Chassidish Nusach.
Well, if you're saying that really, I guess you're right. When you said Nusach Ari,
I daven something in his father's shul is almost identical to what the Chassidim daven. It's almost identical to
Okay,
Siddur.
so
Go into Beth Torah, Beth Torah. You look at their Siddur. It's almost the same thing with going to
I
Chassidim.
understand what you're
It's
saying.
almost the same
So
thing.
you're saying when you say
Let's
Nusach
get to
Ari,
them.
you're referring to the whole. You're talking about Nusach Sfard when you say Nusach Ari.
we're talking about Nusach Sfard, Nusach Ashkenaz, talking about regular, real
I
Nusach
see.
Sfard. So that's what we're referring to over here. We're before all that.
Okay.
So
You have to, many times, right? A kid come to yeshiva. A kid from Sephardi house come to Ashkenazi yeshiva. He's the only one that there. You can't daven his Nusach, you have to daven. Then the opposite, you have
okay, so,
There's a lot
the
to
Sephardi.
Kedushi has to do what.
so that's different. Right? So the Shai is what do you do in such a case? Okay, that's different. Okay, I didn't get into that so much.
One of my daughter was born in Neshama. She's Baruch Hashem, she's over 40 now. When she was born, I called my mother in Israel, and I told her I'm going to the shul not to name the kids. I'm going to name your name, because we name by your life. My father we named, and he has a lot of names that when he was alive. She said, in our minhag we don't call. My father minhag they call. My mother minhag they don't call. They're all for the Ben Ish Chai.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. So we call her Neshama. So I told my wife, what are we going to call her? She's a good Neshama. We call her Neshama. We call her Neshama. So you see, the same place,
Right.
they have different minhag, and I didn't know that she doesn't call her name. I was so happy to call her name, you know.
And that's all
When
fun.
I
So
when
this is
Mashiach will come, what Nusach will be daven.
so then we'll know that each will know what shaper. We're not 12 different Nuschais.
We all be Mashiachistic.
The opposite, the Mashiach will make all Jewish people unite. He's not going to be like
We one Nusach.
Right, we're all going to be one Nusach.
So you want to know which Nusach he will do.
Let them come and we'll see.
Let them come.
So, fine, so going on weiter. So the Shaila, so
No,
here the Magen Avraham only tells you that there are 12 Nuschais. But the Shaila is that it's known that the Arizal, there are 12 Nuschais. We only know of two of them.
Oh, each Shevet.
We only know of two of them, but there are supposed to be 12. So, but the Pale, every snow and it's brought down that all there's known that the Nusach made the Arizal made another Nusach. He made a Nusach at Tefillah. He didn't write the Siddur himself. He was Masader. He taught his Talmidim how to daven.
Chaim Vital made
And-
it, nothing.
Yeah,
He gave it to Chaim Vital. Chaim Vital.
I don't think Chaim Vital made a Siddur. Ich weiß nicht, but there's a few. Al Kaponim, yeah. So
How much of a deviation?
he
is
made.
it? Is it a major deviation?
So he made a nusach. So the shayla is what's with this nusach?
He
Is
did,
it
he did not make that nusach. If you look at the Yidin Shara Kavanot, he writes that the Rabbi Chaim Vital writes that Ari used nusach in a certain sidur from Shanat such and such, and
right? But the Arizal gave over. He didn't write a siddur, but he didn't make a siddur. He gave over a siddur at tefillah. He gave over kavanas and how to daven, and based on that, his talmidim made siddurim based on his kavanas and based on his
on the
siddur.
contrary, he gave kavanot according to that sidur which Rabbi Chaim Vital mentions.
What is
That
what?
was the
Ashkenaz
sidur
Sephardi, what's
being
it?
used in that
Well,
time.
But there are certain things different. Not everything is the same. He says certain things with Nusach Ashkenaz, certain things with Nusach Sfard. So the shayla is what's pshat with the Nusach Ari Siddur. So in some of the Baal Shem Tov and the Talmidim Baal Shem Tov all said that everyone should change to Nusach Ari. Everyone should start davening with this Nusach Ari, and it became a big movement. A lot of people changed from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari. So the shayla is what's pshat. The Maggid Ram says you shouldn't. The Maggid Ram quotes Arizal that you shouldn't change, and Mitav Arizal says you shouldn't change. And makes another Nusach, and Mitav everyone starts changing to the Nusach of the Arizal.
Arizal were what, 700 years ago? 6, 7. So it's really
So what's going on?
It's a major change.
So there's a letter from the Maggid, the Maggid a message, the Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, in it's printed in the Sefer Maggid Devar of the Yaakov, and it's in Kuf Lamed Gimel. Someone asked him how should he daven? Well, what should he do with the Nusach Tefillah? So the Maggid tells him that he should daven with the Nusach Ari. So what's pshat the Nusach Ari? He says here, it's known like that, right? We already saw before that Arizal says that there are 12 sharim, there are 12 gates how to go into Shemayim. He says, there's a 13th gate. There's a 13th in the Beis Hamikdash. What happens if someone doesn't know what Shevet he's from? So they go into the Beis Hamikdash. They go into the Beis Hamikdash through the Shari Yud Gimel. So he says, so too, the Beis Hamikdash Shel Maila is connected to the Beis Hamikdash Shel Matan. So too, in the Beis Hamikdash Shel Maila, when we enter through our tefillos, there's also a Shari Yud Gimel. And Arizal was misakin that the reason Arizal made when he made the Nusach Ari, his Nusach was a Shari Yud Gimel, and therefore that's why the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid is pushing everyone should daven with Nusach Ari, because over here this is the Shar HaKoil and all the Shvatim. And people don't know what Shevet they're from. Anyone could come in through the Shar. Everyone could come in through this gate.
So why change your minute though? What gave him a right to change his minute? He had a siddur before.
So according to this, it's fine because we still don't know. Maybe we only have 2 nuschos, but there are people from 12 different shvatim.
But he has a tradition from his father. His father told him to what city he should daven from. What gives him a right to go ahead and make up his own? Make shinuyim.
It's the same Arizal. The same Arizal says he shouldn't change from Nusach Ashkenaz to Sfard because maybe how do you know if this Nusach is the right one?
No, how do you do that?
But the only issue is if you're changing to a Nusach, which maybe this Nusach is not the right Nusach for you. But the Nusach Ari, which is the Shar HaYud Gimel, which works for everyone, works for every Shevet, so there's no issue to changing to the Shar HaYud Gimel.
This is a Vadai and this is a Suffix.
Yeah.
It's a must.
How does he know that? He knows the Apik.
The Arizal?
Yeah, and the Vua.
You heard of the Arizal before? Some you know about the Arizal, yeah?
Yudke, so then I have to daven Nusach Ari then. He said, this is a Suffix and this is a Vadai. And something must be a Vadai, right?
It definitely won't hurt.
But that's what he's saying.
But he's telling you don't change.
What?
He's telling you don't change.
Yeah, but he said,
Wait.
this is a Suffix.
Okay, wait till
this is a Vadai.
Wait till
But
we
he
get.
telling you don't change.
Okay.
Stay with you.
Wait till we get to the Chassan Sefer. Yeah, let's read off the
It gets more confusing as it gets.
let's read Lashon of the Maggid in the second Maramaki, number 2. He writes, Zeis kvar neida sham razal da Yud Gimel hishtachavoyes hoyu b'mikdash negi Yud Gimel shorim. They were about 13 times connected the 13 shorim. V'nirmas v'yecheskel. Fine. V'hina Yud Beis shorim him shar l'chol shevet. Each shevet has their own gate. V'yadua shebeis hamikdash shel mata mechavin connected beis hamikdash shel maila. ונמצא שיש לבית המקדש של מעלה גם כן שער לכל שבט, כמובן בכספי הארי ז"ל, וכנגד היו הישנח הוויוס. So we see also Shemaila there are also 12 gates. Fine, in the second paragraph, also a concept of davening. We want to go into the base of Mikdash Shemaila. Each one has their own gate, and they want to go in. It says, yeah, there's it's a ladder, and you're climbing up. Each gate has its own different tzirufim of different the shaynis of Hashem to get in. That's why we have different nuschos. Someone doesn't know a shifti, he doesn't know how to come in. That's the 13th gate.
They don't say when Mashiach come, he would tell people, you from Shevet Reuven, you from Shimon. Nobody knows where it is.
So kind of right. So Mashiach comes, maybe we'll change back. I don't know. Either we'll have Nusach Ari, or everyone will know what their Nusach Ari is.
Publishers would make them good parnasa. It's 12 different Sidura. Be a boom.
When the Mashiach comes, the whole issue tefillah will be changed completely. That this, like you won't be saying this Shemon Esrei like you say today at all, because certain things will be obsolete.
Uvenei Yerushalayim will be obsolete.
Let them come already.
The Mabit in Seif Beis Lakini writes that certain things off the shape instead of saying davening and Tikaba Shefer Gadol Chirasin, we'll say thing or Neidolcha Al Shetikata the Shefer Gadol Chirasin. So we're gonna have to. He says we're going to have to change certain nuschos, yeah.
You don't say, Shivenu Letzion Yirecha Berachamim.
Yeah, we're going to be taking the...
I don't think you don't say.
Fine, let's go weiter. So what did the Arizal do? So in third paragraph, number 2, he says, L'ki ha'Arizal, b'yois n'hidin lei shvilin d'rekia, since he knew all the pathways of the Shemaim, li medases ha'am l'misha inu makir ha'shivtei, he taught all the people who didn't know what their Shevet was, but he can seder nulukot mikam nuschos chidol lebekim, and he made a seder which he picked out from all the different nuschos.
It's good for you.
And therefore that works for everyone. This is a Shar Yud Gimel. And I was saying, can I ask a Shaila, so who needs the Yud Beis Sharim? Everyone should just go into the Shar Yud Gimel. So he says, V'im yishal ha-Shaila is at Seideh Cheim Yud Gimel Sharim, Halei Yud Gimel hu kel kulam, ha'yadai v'zeh. Let's just have one game, everyone will go
That's
through.
the master key.
He says, Ha-Tshuva, ki bizman sha'yidin kol shevet v'nusach ha-shayich l'chol shevet. He says, in the time when everyone knew which shevet they were, which nusach they were supposed to daven, the v'adei ha'yisra tevli kanas v'shar
Each one his own.
He says, for sure it would have been better to go through his own gate. And he says that the reason is kept secret by him. He's not saying what the reason is, but he says it is better. He says, now that we don't know, he goes on weiter, we don't know which shevet we are. And they as in this nusach, it says, even someone knew that they're a Kayin or a Levi, still they don't know which nusach is their proper nusach. Yeah, we have Kayin and Levim and Yisraelim. How could I really davening from one nusach? So must be something's wrong. Therefore, he says everyone should go with Arizal, which is Shav l'chol nefesh. It works for every shevet.
So Chabad is Ari.
Chabad is Nusach Ari. They're
How come the
different.
Kadmonim didn't know this? Why suddenly?
So you're coming to the Chassan Sefer's time. Yeah, we'll get there in a minute.
You're talking about 700 years ago. You're talking, depends what window of time you're looking at.
So
1,000 years.
It's the same question like which film Rashi put in which one.
But he was just what?
How come Rashi didn't
so
have
essentially
Nusach?
the
Rashi is...
the Shar HaKolim,
Rashi should have known this better. Just as good as the Rizal.
in the Seif Shar HaKolim in his Hakdama, where he explains the whole concept of Nusach Ari, he quotes over there from the Mittel Rebbe in the Shar Yichud. He says that it's not that he says that this concept of the Shar Yud Gimel, it's not a chiddush of the Arizal. The concept of the Shar Yud Gimel, 13th gate, that existed beforehand. He says all the parts of Tefillah that were all equal, that we all have in the same, you have Shemona Esrei, Baruch Omar, and Yishtabach. He says all those things were all Nuschos are the same. That is a Shar Yud Gimel. Shar Yud Gimel always existed. And all Yidden, when we daven the parts in the space that we're all the same, that is a Shar Yud Gimel. Elamai, the other parts of davening, we had our own Sharim. Sukkah de Zimra and Birchas Kriya Shema. He says the Chiddush of the Arizal was that we should use the Shar Yud Gimel for the other parts of Kriya Shema also. He has been saying that also for Sukkah de Zimra and also for Birchas Kriya Shema we should use the Shar Yud Gimel. Shayat Gimel is a known concept. It was being used beforehand also. But just the Arizal stretched out. We should use it for the other process.
So why didn't you use it before then?
So before then they didn't know how to. I guess they didn't know.
He was the only one who knew how to do the combination.
It took Arizal. I'm saying I'm saying
Well, there were other people that were just as big as them before.
There were, but I'm saying everyone has their zman, everyone has their time. The Eivisher is only megala. Everyone only knows what the Eivisher is megala to them, right?
But one second, we daven.
But the problem was there, though. The problem was there, and the solution wasn't there.
Yes.
The problem didn't change.
Before Beis Hamikdash also there was davening. Before Beis Hamikdash.
Yeah, but that was
davening, right?
That was custom.
Avraham Avinu daven, Yitzchak daven, Yaakov daven. We know that.
I'm not sure. Yes, I'm not sure what's going on. If there used to be 12 different schleis, I'm not sure. How do we only end up with 2? I'm not sure.
So
I don't know.
Shvatim was missing.
Shvatim Ishevet.
The 10 Shvatim's gone, and we have 2 now.
Yeah. We only have 2.
daven on the shachis. Yitzchak daven on the mincha.
But how we know now which
Also,
shah I make kavana for my shah? I don't know what shah.
so we don't know. We don't know. That's what the Arizal says. That's why.
But no, you make kavana before you daven, and I go and do
Fine.
shah.
I'm
So
not
let's-
kind of shy. I don't say any shy.
Let's go right to the Chasam Sefer. So who's the one
Yeah,
that?
let's get some sort.
So the Maggid and the Baal Shem Tov and his Talmidim and the Maggid were all pushing that everyone should change to Nusach Ari because it's a Shayat Gimel. It works for everyone. So who are the ones that came out against this? So one of them is the Chasam Sefer. And how did it come up? So Chasam wrote to the Chasam Sefer. There's a nice in some shul where they daven Nusach Sfard and Nusach Ari. He calls Nusach Ari Nusach Sfard, and they would daven Nusach Ari over there. And someone came in. He was wearing wool clothes, and someone
What
came
clothes?
up wool clothes.
Wool clothes, yeah.
So he's wearing some type of bag, and the guy told him that, what are you doing over here? Someone who wears such clothes shouldn't daven in a shul where they daven Nusach Ari by the Umad. So someone asked.
Now, the problem is, what was wrong with the clothing, though?
So they wrote to the Chasam Sefer. Is there some issue? Chasam Sefer has no idea. He says maybe the guy's worried about issue a chashash shatanis. He says everyone wears these clothes. He doesn't have any chashash. He's not aware about any chashash of shatanis. He says he has no idea what the guy is talking about. But Agav, once he says on the comment that he made that in a shul you don't deserve in a place where he davened Nusach Sfar, Nusach or Nusach Ari. So he says. So then he gets all. He goes on into a tangent. He says it's all the same thing. One nusach is not better than a different nusach. They all go in the same derech. They all go in the same derech. They all go into the same way. And even the Arizal, he says he calls the nusach. He calls the Arizal's nusach Sfard because a lot of things are similar to nusach Sfard. He says in the Arizal's nusach, the whole reason he made his nusach Sfard is because he was a Sfardi. He was a Sfardi, so he was mefarish all his. So he was mefarish all his kabbalas. Since he davened Nusach Sfar, so he was mefarish all his kabbalas according to Nusach Sfar. But he says if Arizal would have been an Ashkenazi, or if there would have been another Ashkenazi who was as big as Arizal, he would have done the same thing with the kavanas. He would have done the same thing. Basically, we'll see soon that the Chasam Sefer didn't see the Sefer Maggid Dvar of Yaakov, but we just saw before this whole concept of the Shayat Gimel. The Chasam Sefer didn't see. He didn't know about this when he wrote this.
Chasam Sefer was a Talmud Rav Nosson.
Chasam Sefer. Chasam.
Was the Chasam?
Moshe Sefer. Yeah. Chasam Sefer.
It's the son.
The Chasam Sefer was a Talmud Rav Nosson Adler.
Yeah.
Nosson Adler himself does.
Daven Nusach Ari. Yeah, he writes that in the Tshuva. That's how we know that because he writes it. The Chasam Sefer writes it himself. We'll see. So he didn't know this. He didn't see this whole concept of the Shar Yud Gimel. So according to him, the whole concept of Nusach Ari what was the whole concept of Nusach Ari? It was Nusach Sfard that came with a user's manual. It came with the Kavanas. It came with the Kavanas of the Arizal. He said both Kavanah, Nusach Ashkenaz, and Nusach Sfard, they both have the same Kavanas. Just it's different ways of doing it. The Arizal gave us the user manual for Nusach Sfard, so we know how to down with it. Nusach Ashkenaz, we happen to not have. We didn't have the unfortunately we didn't have the Arizal didn't give us the user's manual for Nusach Ashkenaz, so it doesn't work. So he says, Al Kavanah, if someone understands the Kavanas of the Arizal and they want to use the Nusach Sfard because it fits with the Kavanas, it goes into hate. But someone who doesn't understand the Kavanas Arizal, why should he daven Nusach Sfard? Why is it any better than Nusach? Both of them he doesn't. Nusach Sfard and Nusach Arizal are not any better than Nusach Ashkenaz. The only mile is if you understand the Kavanas. If you don't understand the Kavanas, what are you gaining?
You can apply the Kavanas from the Rizal to Nusach Ashkenaz.
But it's a different Nusach. It doesn't fit. The kavanas work differently.
We're talking about nusach is the actual wording, the wordage.
Right, but the kavanas fit with the nusach. It goes together. So we'll read this trivially, right? So number 3,
Yeah,
it's in
that's right.
Chilek Aleph, Eidechayim Sim Tez Vav. So he says, Kol Neschai Shavi Zu Kazu. They're all the same. Chosh Yesh Bezu Yesh Bezu. Everything you have this and you have that one. El Sha'ini Tonu Yedei Adma. We don't understand how. Ki Kol Nuscha V'Nuscha Eina Ela Signon Echad Neshuna Michaverta. It's just a different way of saying things. Avahim Oidon Makim Echad. They all go into the same way. Sheba Nerha Lekim Hariz Atzal. The Izin Lechik V'Tikan Ki Hu Yoda Teichan Advarim. And he was masaking things, and he made a nusach. Hu Hemitz B'Siduri Kol Dover Al Mechaynoi. He put everything in place like Kavanis. V'Gilat Halumis Shel HaNuscha Hahi HaSvardis. And he was Megala the Kavanis of the nusach HaSvardis. Yanki Haya Svardi, because he was a Svardi. V'ilu Haya Hu Haya Ashkenazi. Oy Haya Ninsa B'Ashkenazim Ish Kamoyu. We would have found someone like him. Haya Isik Case about B'Sudar Ashkenazi. You would have done the same thing for the Ashkenazim.
Same thing.
So he says it's all this. He says there's nothing special about the Nusach Ari. It's just that you have the Kavanis, but the Etzem Nusach is just the same thing as Nusach Sfard.
The reason was the Sephardi came from Spain.
To Spain.
So
And I heard he was Ashkenaz and his Talmidim were from other.
So I was reading, someone is writing that his father was an Ashkenazi, his mother was a Sfardi. So that's one of the Arin they tie on the Chassan Sefer. Was Pshati was a Sfardi, wasn't he?
Loria isn't a Sephardi's name.
Right? Yeah. He's saying he was.
Lori's not Sfarad?
His last name Loria.
He was related to
Is
the
Ashkenaz name?
He was related to the
It is?
Rashal. He was related to the Rashal.
Who's the Rashal?
Marshall. He was in Europe.
He was a contemporary of the Ramah.
Oh, I see.
He was related to Ramah also.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. So also Pshat, he wasn't Mamish, he wasn't Mamish Sfardi. And a lot of things, and I'll say a little later, the Divrei Chaim Tainas, what's Pshat in Nusach Sfardi. There's tons of things in Nusach Ari, which fits with Nusach, which is not like Nusach Sfardi. So whatever, these are some of the Tainas. But anyways, he ends off in number 3. Vayetz mi divreinu, shamispalim Sfardis. People daven Nusach Sfard, meaning he calls Nusach Ari on Nusach Sfard, because according to his understanding, it's the same thing. Mistama, but why did they daven? Why did they switch from Nusach Ashkenaz to Sfard? Mistama bo b'seid Hashem nichnesu b'seisa madrega v'yedi ma sha'imrim yafa also. So these people that they understand the Kavanas Arizal, and therefore they switched to Nusach Sfard. So fine, good. But Mishle Yelakach Gugina Nachnu Masha on Mispal Maderach Misakni Atfilos Nuschei Ashkenaz Gantfilosenu Nishmels. So people don't understand the Kavanas Arizal. We're just davening al das whoever was Misakin the Nusach. We're in daven al das his Kavanah. So maybe there's no chiluk between Nusach Sfard and Ashkenaz. Avayin leimar shetfil zu mishun mechaverta. Can't say that the Nusach Arizal is any different than or any has any might over Nusach Ashkenaz. So this is what he wrote over there. So after that, the next tshuva, so someone they wrote back to him. They say, "How could he say such a thing?" There's a Sefer Magid Yaakov. The Magid writes that the Nusach Ari is a whole different Nusach. It's a whole different thing. It's a Shayad Gimel. So he said, first of all, he says, "Ain't Sefer Tachas Yad." He says he doesn't have the Sefer available. He says he barely has time to. He barely doesn't have time to. He barely has time to learn Gemara Rishonim. He usually doesn't look into Achreinim. He says, and he ends off. He questions this whole concept of the Shariat Gimel. So this is number 4. The fourth Ma'amok in the Chassan Sefer writes, and this is in Siman Tazayin. So Masha Heting Malasim Sefer Lukuti Amorim Isay Sefer Linimsa Bekilosinu. I don't have it. Va'ach Leza Chisin Lahavin Dibra Sefer Ahu Shakasab Nuschas Sfardis He Lebnei Tarivas. That is for other. That is for people who Bnei Tarivus. I mean, they don't know what Shevet they're from.
Oh, I see.
So they don't know what Shevet they're from. Yeah. In Kain, yes, HaKayanim Haldim Sheyedim Shivtam Lehayu Lisvalvim Benusach Zu Elo Nusach Hayadu Elo Kayanim. So even according to the Arizal, so why are Kehanin and Levim davening the Nusach and Nusach Ari? They should be davening a different Nusach. So be'emes, I'm saying, if you would have saw the letter from the Magid, it would have been for Enford, because he said, first of all, we don't know what Shevet we are, and also we don't know which Nusach to daven. So even if you know which Shevet they're from, you still don't know what's the right Nusach. So be'emes, that Shai is already for Enford. And also, yes, he goes on weiter. V'oit tzarchni in Godel. Right in times of the Gemara, people didn't know what Shevet they were from. Kim HaKoyanim Valavim, with the Veis Rebbe, V'Hanesim, Shayichusam Mishpatel, Mishpatel ben Avutul Beis Yehuda. So there were some families they knew which Shevet they were from, but everyone did it. In came Kulis Paulus Sfartis. Everyone was davening Nusach Ari in the times. If Nusach Ari is people that got mixed up, so everyone was davening Nusach Ari back then already. So if already back then they should have davened Nusach Sfard, according to you're saying that Nusach and Nusach Sfard, which right he says Nusach and Nusach Sfard, he says the same thing, is for people who are mixed up. So in the times of the Gemara, everyone should have already been davening Nusach Sfard. So where did Nusach Ashkenaz fly out from?
Kohanim and Levim were Chalal Bishwatim.
They're from Shevet Levi.
And Shevet Levi was Chalal Bishwatim.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had a different tefillah.
So yeah, according to our result, each Shevet has their own tefillah. So where did these other nuschais come from? Actually, Hayul Talmud that weren't around then. And the Hini Kol Chachmi Tzarfas, he says Rashi Bali Ateises Veram.
Remain Rottenberg, maybe. I'm guessing.
Veram Rottenberg. Okay.
Avash.
Aram, yeah. Varosh Vatur Kulam Hispal Ashkenazis. Well, Yadu Shivtam, but also Tfilas Mashanaima. And they sure accepted their tefillas of them, even though they don't know they're saved in Dafn Nusach Ashkenaz. So things worked out.
Ashkenaz also are Jews.
So another tiny house over there is how if each Shevet has their own Nusach, how could they definitely get there in a minion? Saying everyone's.
That's a problem.
Yeah, how could they even start it? He has that shayla also. He says, "Al kein divrei hasefer, and al kein divrei sefer hachosam." It's you can't understand it. You can't shaylas. You can't understand it. But kvar kasav Ramban b'sifrei milchamis chayva. That kol ma shalei nimtza b'shas ba'avi Yerushalmi midasheim in adam chayiv lahaminui. Amamin yamin. You're not chayiv to believe it, but you want to believe it, you could, but you're not chayiv to. So this is what the Chasam Sefer says. This is his tightness. Yeah. So again, what is tightness? He's saying.
What's the Rambam said again?
Ramban.
Oh, Ramban.
So if it's not written in Shas Vavin Yerushalmi and the Midrashim, you're not mechuyev to believe it.
That's a big statement.
He brings it. The Chasam Sofer brings it in his Tshuva number Tes Zion. He brings this thing that the Ramban had a fight, a debate with a Meshumad, Pablo Cristiani. So the king of Spain and like 300 people, the whole thing, and they're fighting back and forth. And then, so the Meshumad, he said certain midrashim. It sounds like they're right. So the Ramban said, so it's a medrash. I don't believe it. Big deal. Do you want to do me something? So, and he said, like you're Catholic, on Sunday you go to church, and the Galach makes a drasha. So let's say you don't like the drasha. So now you're ice Catholic, you're not Catholic anymore. It's a drasha, that's all. So the Chasam Sofer says that it's la'alacha. In other words, he wasn't daicha b'kash. He didn't make it up to push away the guy, but that's the halacha, like this happened. And he said, why he wrote it? Because someone asked him, do you have to believe what's written in Shivchei Besh? So the Chasam Sofer says, if it's in the Gemara, you have to believe it. Even you don't understand, you don't like, it's in the Gemara, that's it. After the Gemara, if you want, believe it. You don't want, you're still a good Jew. And he asking in a tshuva. That's halacha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Till today, the Matastar, Chasam Sofer, they might have shtreimels, they might wear long, they might look like polishes, but right now they all daven Nusach Ashkenaz.
Okay.
Some Sofer, understand? You go to some Sofer, you go to Matastar, they put on a star and everything else, but they daven, their siddur itself is Ashkenaz.
Yeah, saying Talmud of the Arizal of the Chasam Sofer. I'll go on him. So again, what is tightness? His tightness were how. So most of his tightness are coming from that he did it. A lot of his tightness are coming from the fact. A lot of the tightness from the Arizal of the Chasam Sofer is that he's understanding that Nusach Ari is the same thing as Nusach Sfard. Right? So then he has a shayach. Everyone's having Nusach Sfard. How does it change? But I'm saying, but again, the Divrei Chaim, the Minchas Elazar, they're all chilek on the Chasam Sofer. And then so I'm saying, well, he didn't see the Sefer Magid of the Yafi. He didn't see the letter from the Magid, and he didn't see the letter from the Magid. And in the you see clearly that the Nusach Ari is different, not just Nusach Sfard. He changed things. He made things differently. And when you get to Shilas, how could people daven together? How come the other people's tefillos were being answered? And how could it be even if they didn't know their Shevet? And how could it be that they're misnaf together in a minyan? So the Sha'ar Kedel brings down from the Mittel Rebbe that the Sha'ar Yud Gimel is always around. Sha'ar Yud Gimel, we have Shemana Esrei, we have all these parts of tefillos which were all equal, were all the same. That is a Sha'ar Yud Gimel. So how could it be they daven their tefillos were here by the Eibishter? They taki use a Sha'ar Yud Gimel. They taki the Shemana Esrei. Everyone goes into the Eibishter. And how could he all be misafter meaning? Because I'm saying that by the Iker parts of tefillah we're all the same. We're taka all using the same Sha'ar Yud Gimel. Elamai, the Arizal is Mahader. He was meitzit that in the whole tefillah we should use the Sha'ar Yud Gimel, not only for Shemana Esrei. So it's a whole. He dav Nusach Ashkenaz. He writes in the Tshuva that Taka he's that his Rebbe and also an Adler and also his Rebbe's Rebbe the Haflo. They both have in Nusach. He calls it Nusach Sfarad, which is Nusach Ari. He dav Nusach Ari. He said Ashkenaz, but he says also. What's interesting, he says in their shuls, even though they daven by the Omen, they daven Nusach Ari, but everyone else in the shul daven Nusach Ashkenaz. They weren't mistaken for everyone else to daven Nusach Ari. And
Rabbi Moses told us on Shabbos Adosh once, and he said a Rav came to a new shul, and maybe after the Shia I'll say.
Okay.
The flow was from the Chayzim of Lublin. He was the Talmud of the Chayzim.
It's Talmud of the Chayzim.
Yeah, him and Reb Shmok, the two brothers. He wound up in Germany, the Hafla, and he kept his Hasidus quietly, but he himself davened that Nusach.
Interesting.
The whole list.
So going on weiter, so this is the whole Ma'aser. This is a big machlekes with Nusach Ari. So the Maram Shik, he comes and he defends the Chasam Sleifer that Taki, so you shouldn't, that the Arizal that you shouldn't change. He shouldn't change the Arizal Chasam Sleifer against changing from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari, because you're not supposed to change from one Nusach to another like these Magen Ram brings from the Arizal. But then they have a based on the Maggid and the Talmidim Al Shem Tov and the Divrei Chaim and the Munkacher, and the old Taina that is saying it's not pshat. I'm saying you have the Kabbalah from the Arizal, and saying you have the Kabbalah from the Maggid message from the Al Shem Tov. Then Nusach Ari is a Sha'ar Yud Gimel. It's a whole other story. So that's the big machlekes. So what happens? So this is the Nusach Ari. So what happens with the Alter Rebbe Siddur? The Alter Rebbe was also Nusach and made a Siddur. So what happened over here? So the Shai Khalil explains. He says that Arizal himself never made a siddur. The Talmidim, later Talmidim, they made siddurim based on the kavanos and based on the teachings of Arizal. And so Memela, he says so obviously the Arizal didn't write himself. So he could also give there's room for some te'usim, and some people added they did some things based on the kavanos of the Ramak. He gives a list of 6 siddurim that he knew of, and he says there were other ones around. There are other siddurim, Nusach Ari siddurim around. He has 6 of them. He says some of them they were printed, the siddur printed without nekudas, because they didn't want the people to be using the siddur, the Nusach Arizal with all the kavanis. So they made the siddur without nekudas, so not everyone should be able to use it. And there are different versions of Nusach Ari going around. And so what did the Alter Rebbe do? So there are 2 things. First of all, Alter Rebbe came. So two main points. First of all, Alter Rebbe came to make a very meduyuk version of the Nusach Ari. So he says the Maggid wanted. The Maggid said that they needed someone to paskin to make a sefer Shulchan Aruch and halacha. And between all the Talmidim of the Maggid, they couldn't find anyone like the Alter Rebbe, and therefore they chose Alter Rebbe. And that's an Alter Rebbe. He had the Ma'ila Sai and Nigla de Torah. He was the biggest guy in between all the Talmidim, and all Sayanista de Torah. He was Sayanista de Torah and Chassidus. So the Ma'ila he was masakin the Siddur that should be an Ifim Meduyuk. Sai al pi diktuk and Sai al pi the Kavonis, and Sai filtered out, and he only put in things which were from the Arizal and which were from the Arizal, and things which were from Medina, from the Shas and Peiskin.
But the other Hasidim, they might have made them, but they're not using it.
No,
They're not using the Siddur
of the Alter Rebbe.
Of the Alter Rebbe. You're saying they did it, but who would besides Lubavitch and certain other individual groups. Who else is using
Yeah,
the
I'm
siddur?
saying a lot of them aren't going with Alter Shulchan Aruch nowadays either. I'm saying they're going with the Mishnah Berurah. Saying, I don't know, ask them, I can't answer. I
They're
can
going with, none of them are reading Gebras over there. I mean, they're going with.
Say that's a shayla for them. It's not a shayla. I don't know. You have to ask them. I can't answer.
No,
that
I'm just
question.
telling. I'm just asking based on what you're saying. That's it.
I'm just telling you what did Alter Rebbe come to do, right? So each person made their own nusach hadaritza. Which one's more meduya? So the Alter Rebbe also came and made a nusach, which came and made a nusach. But another thing, a big chiddush of the nusach, another thing of the Alter Rebbe siddur is that it should be a nusach which is shaveh l'chol nefesh. It should be a nusach that everyone could use. And he writes that Alter Rebbe made that the diktuk, the nusach of the Isya should fit perfectly according to the kavanos of the Arizal. And there's a letter that there's a letter from the Rebbe. The Rebbe wants to say that the Rebbe says that the Rebbe teaches that since the nusach is meduyik with the kavanos of the Arizal, therefore even someone who doesn't understand the kavanos of the Arizal, since he's davening with that nusach, it's as if he's davening with the kavanos of the Arizal. And the Rebbe writes right over there that it's similar to what the Alter Rebbe says in Hilchas Talmud Torah, that everyone is mechuyev to learn all 5 chalakim in Torah. Pshat, Remes, Drush, and Seid. A lot of people part this. Yeah, some people not shaykh to Seid. I'll go upon them a taste, whatever you're shaykh to. So I'll go similarly over here. A person has it when it comes into tefillah. A person also needs to daven, needs to have a taste a little bit of Seid in the tefillah. I'm not shaykh to Seid. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe made us the nusach of the siddur in a way that people could also have a little bit of the seed involved in the tefillah. And essentially, he points out Shara Keilah that even some parts of the Nusach Ari, the Alter Rebbe left out of the siddur. And he says the Alter Rebbe understood that those parts of the Kavanos Ari weren't for everyone. Only the parts from the Nusach Ari which he felt was shaykh for everyone, he put into the siddur. So that's what the Alter Rebbe was makes it in Alter Rebbe's version of the Nusach Ari.
Is Tikkun Chatzos, is there a nusach where he wrote Tikkun Chatzos? It's not the or it's left out just by us because the Rebbe said not to say. Or does he actually have a writing on Tikkun nusach?
I'm saying we.
There is a Tikkun Chatzos by itself.
Yeah, but the Nair prints.
No, it's in the printed siddur.
So you have to look in the Torah, or you have to look in the original Siddurim. I'm not sure you have.
Those little siddurs that are.
Let's look in the Torah or Siddurim. In the Siddur, the regular Tehillas Hashem.
Or had it?
Yeah, that one is too.
The Tehillas Hashem, they are market. They fix things around. Fine, we have a few more minutes. Let's just finish the next.
Because we don't say.
The next part of the discussion.
We don't say.
The Rebbe said not.
Also.
No, only certain people.
Fine, so going on. So this is a whole machlekes. It's okay to change from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Sfarad. But the next stage of the machlekes, next stage of the discussion came up. The people were asking the Munkatcher and others, could someone is after Nusach Ari, could they change back to Nusach Ashkenaz? Then the question changed.
Should go back to Ashkenaz.
So till now the machlekes was, could you change from Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari? But then the new question came out. Some people wanted to switch from Ari back to Nusach Ashkenaz.
I think the Rebbe said no.
So Pastor L'Chira, you're not allowed to change Nusach, right? We saw that reason not change from one Nusach to another. Either for Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari. So Nusach Ari is a chiddush. It's an exception. It's a Shara Kailo. But to change from the Shara Kailo to another Nusach, for sure the L'Chira, who's not to that?
They're chaylik with the Chasam Sof.
Yeah, so this is what the Rebbe writes in the letter in number 8. In English, Kedesh Chilek Yud Aleph. Some people, so there are other letters. Some people writing to the Rebbe, they were thinking about Daven Nusach Ari. So he says, the Munkatcher writes, you're allowed to change from Nusach Ari, but not to Nusach Ari, but to change back, you're not allowed to. So don't ask them Daven Nusach Ari unless you're serious. And so in number 8, the Rebbe writes, "B'masha kasav eides Nusach Hatfilo, ube'eza oisius lahas b'zilam mispalim." I'm not sure. Maybe you want to. He's trying to get enough Nusach Ari. I'm not sure. Hineyain ba'agdom ashar hakailo shematik shom inisiinu hakadeshim asher Nusach Ari hu Nusach hashav l'chol nefesh. It's a Nusach which is set up for everyone equally. Ubeshut marashdam posach shem Nusach Ashkenaz esfar mutar l'shanis. So the marashdam paskins that you're allowed to change. And beshut divrei chayim.
Who's Marashdam?
Marashdam.
Who's he?
He's from the Chashva Pesach. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Never heard of it. The way you're
he's
saying it, the
quoted-
Rosh Hashanah never.
Yeah,
never heard
no,
that.
he's quoted a lot. Saying it's Zichron Aaron reprinted his Shuvas.
I gotta
But
Google.
the Vechayim, Mamash Hikshal Ze Bechasam Sefer, Ubeshut Maram Shik, the question on the Nusach Ari, Ein Beshut Beis HaYetzer, Chedek Yerechayim, Chedek Yeredea, Chedek Yeredea, Veshut Minchas Elazar, Minchas Elazar, Shetirtzu Kol HaKushiyos. Maskanasa, the Maskanasa, the Shuvas of there, Shemutal
That's a munkas.
Yeah. Maskanasa Shemutal Shanitz Nusach Ashkenaz is Sfarad. The Inshum Dea Lahat Nusach Sfarad La Ashkenaz. Yes, that's what I writes over there. The pill, a little bit later, there's a chub from Moshe. Moshe Taka was matir for people to change from Ari back to Nusach Ashkenaz. Yeah, what's pshat? So I'm saying it's real. It's how could you say such a thing? So really, it's Moshe over there is going l'shita sechasam sefer. He says Betzim, he doesn't understand the whole concept of changing to Nusach Ari. These for Enfer, he says it's Sheina Tirutzim. He says he doesn't really get it. Betzim, he holds he shouldn't be changing from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari.
Begin with.
He says I l'chaydik going to taina now they shouldn't change back. He says Adarav. He says l'chatchila they were all davening Nusach Ashkenaz. You're telling me you can't change, right? You're saying you can't change from Nusach Ari to Nusach Ashkenaz because that's what you're davening. But you mean go back a few generations, Adarabba, they were all davening Nusach Ashkenaz. So now Adarabba, you're going back to the original Nusach. So this is what Moshe writes over there in number 9. It says Hine Yedua in Igas Moshe Chaim Chelik Beisim Chavdalin. Hine Yedua Shekol Anshe Peilin Ungaran Ruslan Levan Bekenis Harachikim. Karim
Cold.
No, Krem is Crimea.
the Kavkaz, the Kedema,
Of Kafkas, yeah.
Kavkazim.
Yeah, so.
Hein Bnei Ashkenaz. So besides for them, they were all Bnei Ashkenaz. And Afa Hasidim, even the Hasidim, they were Ashkenazim. Aash and Ispashta Shittas HaChasidus, he's found Kul Nusach Ashkenaz. They're all davening Nusach Ashkenaz.
Yeah, Hungary had with Ashkenaz.
Yeah.
More Ashkenazim in Hungary.
Yeah. It says Ach, Achakach is Chilu Rashi Hasidim, Lahani, Lisval Nusach, Achar Beza Shinui. They made a different Nusach with different Shinui. V'nimsa, she'in lahachshiv shinui minhag mashe yischat l'isbal Nusach Ashkenaz, she'in lahachshiv shinui minhag mashe yischat l'isbal Nusach Ashkenaz. This is that the person wanted to change back to Nusach Ashkenaz. It's not considered a shinui. After vicha ba'id beis v'gimel deirus hischil l'isbal Nusach Chadash, even though they were davening Nusach Ari, it's not considered a shinui. Shari adarabba him shinu min Rav Yisrael. They're the ones that changed. Rav Yisrael, Direi Yoinam, Chachmei Tzarfas Ashkenaz. They were the ones that changed from all the Chasidei Ashkenaz. And he says, "Ve'im yidu tam borer b'masha tilu l'shanis Nusach HaKavoi." He says, I don't know a good reason why they were matter to change from Nusach Ashkenaz to Nusach Ari. He says, "Al kapanim einu ma'arim al elu sheshinu." I'm not being ma'arim. People change to Nusach Ari. Ki v'adai hayu lahem tam sharashin l'shanis mizeh. Sure, certainly they had some reasons. Avot she'ech reis l'achshe l'spal Nusach Ashkenaz shehu Nusach Aviseinu, but Aviseinu v'adai Rashi shahavi chesed l'kadvusa. He's going back to the beginning. But again, the whole Nekudah Ramesha says because he doesn't get the whole mahalach of the Maggid. He doesn't get the whole concept of Shah HaKolim. He doesn't get the whole Indian. But Mele he says Be'etzem Estantes Anani. He's going back to the Chasam Sefer. That's the same thing as all other Neschos. It's just a little bit different. Be'etzem is all the same thing. Be'etzem he shouldn't be changing. And same Mele, someone switches back. There's no issue. But I'm saying, but Mele, someone's going with but Mele Balit the Maggid and the Mukacher and everything that's going with the Maggid and the Baal Shem Tov. It's to the end that it's a completely different nusach. It's a shar hakoilol, and you know for sure that this nusach works for you. So there's taka no makom to change from nusach Ari to nusach Ashkenaz.
What was the Ashkenaz? How do they view the Shar Yud Gimel? What is the purpose of it?
Who?
I mean, it was 13 Shorim, right?
How does who view that?
I mean, the one who the people from way before Ashkenaz. Sfarad, Nusach Sfarad.
So saying until
before the Nusach.
Saying until that.
So what was the purpose of the third Shar? How they
in the Beis Hamikdash? I'm saying they weren't worried about the Beis Hamikdash all night long. Saying they didn't know what was going off over there. They just knew what's going on in the Beis Hamikdash.
So how do you know the Shar Koilum? I mean, if no one didn't know what the purpose of the third Shar was.
I'm saying in the Beis Hamikdash people.
So why do you say that's
in the Beis Hamikdash people didn't know their Sheva they would go in through there. But no one was the Arizal was the one that was Megala that Beruchnis is also a Shar Yud Gimel. The Arizal was the one that was Megala that there Yud Bei Shorim and there's different Leifanim having
Well,
happened.
but physically there was Yud Gimel Shor. There was a physical.
Right, so that
there
was
a 13 Shar.
That was how to walk into the Beis Hamikdash. But the Arizal was one that was Mechadash and also in davening there's a 13th Shar. Everyone knew Begashmias that physically there was a Shar which gate to walk into the Beis Hamikdash.
So you mean to say the other ones felt there was only 12 Shor, no 13 whatsoever.
Yeah, could be they didn't even know about the 12 Sharim. That's also something that Rizal told us. Could be they didn't know about that either.
I thought you were making an association about 13 Shorim, so therefore there was Yud Beis Shvatim, the 13th one was Shar HaKoilum.
But until that Rizal came
What
around,
the other ones held?
but until that Rizal came around, I don't think everyone realized what was going on in Shemayim. That there also Yud Beis Sharim in the Shemayim and the different schayis are changing everything. I'm not sure if everyone knew about that.
How they said here the Kafkazis, the Ashkenaz?
No,
Kafkaz?
that's what he says. He says except for Kafkaz.
They daven different
Levan
Kafkaz.
becomes a chikim
They're like they daven like you.
What's
Sephardi, Kafkaz.
okay, there's another few other very very interesting things. So the next part of the discussion happens
Where we go now?
in number 10 and onwards. So what happens if you're davening? You're Nusach Svar, let's say Nusach Svar, you're Nusach Ari, you're Nusach Ashkenaz. So you're going to daven in a different shul. What do you do? What? So what happens when you go to daven in a different shul? Are you allowed to daven? Let's say, first of all, if you're not chazan, you're davening by yourself. Do you have to daven the same nusach as them or not? So there is a sefer Pasach Shulchan that says that there's an Isra of Lisa's Geidudu that to daven. That you shouldn't separate yourself from everyone else. You shouldn't.
Well, no, I'm davening. They don't know what I'm supposed.
You're the chazan.
So he said,
I'm the chazan. You have to do what?
no, we're not. Or when you're not the chazan. First of all, when you're not
Yeah,
the
but no one
chazan.
doesn't know what I'm davening. I'm davening.
First of all, when you're not the
They hear what I'm
chazan,
davening?
is there could you daven your own? Could you daven?
As one.
Could you daven?
Kitzur Shulchan Aruch says when you go to the Amid, you daven what's
I
the
hear you
shul
say.
nusach.
That's
Or
what
in
he's
silent,
going to do.
Yeah.
quiet Shmoneh
Otherwise,
Esrei
you call the mini
Okay,
So you're saying something
so-
different. So you're not a proper tzibur. If you're not being mitzvah.
Let's finish. Sorry, let me just finish this.
Now I get what
And
you're saying.
so yeah, so but Lapel, but Lapel is mekubal that what's mekubal is that word that is fine. It's not a problem. You're davening to yourself. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. Lisa's good to do. And this the Rebbe writes in Sefer Minhagim, and he brings down from the Piskei Dinim from the Tzemach Tzedek. So something brings right. So you already seen the Rashba and other Rishonim that they're machlisim a different piyutim what to say, and they wouldn't say it, even though the rest of the shul is still saying it. So you see, there's not an issue of Lisa's good to daven and to have a different nusach from everyone else. So this is.
I'm down in the Bukhari and Shah. I got my Ashkenaz.
Yeah, you can daven. There's no issue. What about?
Kedusha, you got to say, but they're nusach.
And
Then you'd be mitzvah b'peh everyone.
so that's right. So that's weiter sure. Okay, so what? Okay, that I don't know. But there's the next time. What if you're chazan? What if you're going up
That's what
to?
I'm saying.
What if you're going up? What if you're going up to be chazan in the shul?
That's it.
So the Rebbe points out in Har over there that, so the Alter Rebbe is talking about Nusach Ari. So I don't know what other Nusach, but Nusach Ari, he says that Lepel, you see, you have Meiser from Nassan Adler and the Haflah. In their shuls, they were the Chazan. The Chazan Sefer himself has made that they were the Chazans, and they daven Nusach Ari, and everyone else daven Nusach Ashkenaz. So he says,
So how to say Kedusha? Like Disha or the Kaddish? How did it go?
so
How did it go?
Pale, you see, Alpidin for sure. For the Alpidin, the Rebbe says there's no issue. You see, Meiser Af and Haflah and Nassan Adler, but the Pale and all the many shilas. The Rebbe always says that when you get halacha, the Rebbe says that suddenly hamachlikas. So all these shilas about neschois is al kapanin. A shayla is a shayla derabanan, a shayla derabanan. What nusach you should use, but machlekes making a machlekes is a deraisa.
Oh, that's
So
it. Forget about it.
so if you didn't, if no one's ma'arer, so enochinami, it's fine. You can have it. You know
Kalach said also was a Machlokes Shemayim. Look where he wanted.
That's what. And so what? And so what about? So that's that. And what about? So if you're going to be chasen, so for sure you see down from the Nusach of the shul. So what about b'shmona esrei when you're davening b'lachash? So for sure chazar hashas you have to say the Nusach. You should say. So if that's if you're going to go with the Nusach of the shul, and you're going to go with the Nusach of the shul. What about b'lachash and davening quietly? Could you daven your Nusach and then afterwards you'll daven the Nusach of the shul? So
What's wrong with that?
yeah, so there's a lot of chuvas.
What's the chesaris?
Yes, so the Rebbe's in another way. The Rebbe's Messiah from the shuv from the Nesiv Meishiv Dover that he says it's fine. Daven b'lachash, you daven your own nusach, and then afterwards you daven your own. And there's a letter from the letter from the Friedrich Rebbe. He says that also that's what's mekubal, that b'lachash you daven your own tefillah, and then afterwards you daven the nusach of the shul. So the Rebbe has a tzarich iyun because what's the Magen Avram says. What's the reason why we daven? What's the reason the Shliach Tzibur davens b'lachash? The Chayil is going to daven again afterwards. He's not being used to everyone. So the Magen Ram says that it's hachana l'sader tefillah. It's a preparation of sader tefillah. So Eva Zay says, I can understand.
It's a chana. That's for the Amarat.
The first b'lachash. He says b'lachash.
For yourself.
If he's davening again, if he's davening again afterwards b'kol ram, why is he davening first of beforehand b'lachash?
You're talking about the Shliach Tzibur.
The Shliach Tzibur.
So the
Magen Avram says that it's hachana l'sader tefillah.
That was then, not now, because now it's not the same. They used to do chazar hashas
for the
Ramaratzim, but now it's just because it continues on, so it's not the same thing.
So I didn't look into this whole union. The Rebbe says you should do like this, but the Rebbe has a tzarech hiyum. There's a ship from Moshe. Moshe Taka says it's not the same time. He says that it's an issue. He says that b'lachash you should daven the same thing. So since the tefillah b'lachash is a chana for the chazar hashas.
But chazar hashas was made for the Amarat. There's a tip not made for me.
This the chip of Moshe is in number 13. Number 13 says Mama Masha Shama Kveitin Rasi Roma B'Shemi Shamarti She'i Mashiach Sibin Sfal Ba'atzmei B'Nusach Sfarad. He himself Avin Sfarad V'Elifni Ateva B'Makim Shatzibin Sfal B'Nusach Ashkenaz U'Lehipuch Tzorich Gam Kish Misal B'Lachash Sfal B'Nusach HaMokim Shem Sfal L'Hatzibur. He needs Dav Lachash also the same thing. Mishum Shetam Shatzliach Sibin Sfal B'Lachash. Why is there Shliach Tzibur and Sfal B'Lachash? It's because Hu Kadesh Yaser Tefillah. It's not that he should prepare. He should be Masadas Tefillah. V'Lei Kasha B'Shayni. She's Sfal B'Kol Ram. Lifnei Tzibur Hu Eves. That's true. How could you daven a different nusach? Davening different nusach is not preparation for davening afterwards. If it's going to be a different nusach.
Who says that?
Says v'chein b'furish b'magen Avram sim kuf chav dalet sil katin gimel l'dino masha shas shliach tzibur yisfal b'lachash hu k'dei l'haser tefillah. It's a purpose. I didn't look into this whole union. It's a chana for his tefillah. After tefillah kol hashana im leikot chak tzarech shliach tzibur yisfal tefillah b'lachash l'haser tefillah. Yeah. Anyways.
You don't have kavanah for the first bracha in Shemona Esrei. That's one of the chiyuvim.
Yeah.
First bracha, you don't. You go back and you daven again.
You don't, because the second time you want to.
You understand my question right now? He's saying he's doing a preparation. We don't know if the guy has kavanah for the first balachash, and he might not have kavanah b'tzibur.
For the Isias, I'm saying for the Seder, for the...
So what happens if the other day he davened, there's a Polish way of pronouncing it, and then there's the Ashkenaz. And said, Baruch Hu Elikeinu, Baruch Hu Elikeinu. So you're saying that he should also be consistent
The
with that.
Kaini is also a problem.
Is that
means
a problem?
me, not like
Then could you daven for the tzibur if it's Polish and you want to daven the other way? You want to
saying balachash is going to daven with a pronunciation, and when daven he's going to daven.
Not only that, are you even allowed to daven? If the tzibur is davening a Polish way, are you allowed to go and daven the Lubavitch way?
You're saying with a havara.
Yeah, with the havara. No, I'll tell you one more thing. The Rebbe has a thing. The problem is of a hefsek puts in the siddur v'shamru b'nei Yisrael after on Shabbos before Shemona Esrei by Friday night. Right? He puts it in the siddur, but he says that's a hefsek.
Thank you.
So what happens if you daven through the tzibur? So the tzibur is saying a hefsek right now. So do you make the hefsek also? It's a hefsek. That's how we paskin. We put it in the siddur because of a bakasha of the Bardichever. He said to put it whatever. But that's because Nusach Hagra doesn't. That's because of Nusach Hagra.
If you're davening for a different tzibur, say if you're the shliach tzibur and you're going with their
But the
nusach, you go with their nusach.
That's a hefsek.
Well, what's the hefsek? What is the hefsek?
I'm saying, but it's something. Their shittas are out there, right? I'm saying Lepil. There are people.
The
who do
Rebbe,
it.
he didn't hold it. The Alter Rebbe held it. It was a hefsek. It is a shita, but he's pasking. It's a hefsek.
Well, saying, but anything, every part of the nusach we do different is because
I think
we
that
have
one said better not to the tzib. I think that one said it's better not to daven for the tzibur because it's a big problem.
Okay.
Yes, Rabbi, my old Shiloh, my old Yeshua,
Yeah.
down by Dom in a different shul, with a different Nusach, he says better not to down by Dom.
Oh, see?
Better not to daven by
Better not to that. That's all.
Better not to down by Dom. Take Kadeshim and better not to down by
Right.
Dom.
Yeah.
That's, you can ask him today, the Shiloh, because he's not here, but I asked him Shiloh and he told
I
me
mean, you
better
could
not-
ask him, but you might not know what he's answering.
He could answer you, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
If you're chiv, what do you do?
That was the question. If you heal and you want to down by Dom,
I did it last year when I davened for my father, right? I davened in shul over here in Flatbush. They have a different siddur.
so I asked him the Shiloh, when you down by Dom, and he said better not to down by Dom.
Nusach, it's yours, that's it.
Rabbi, no.
Look,
And I think Rabbi had a whole